So just drop in on your mat, like lie down on your back with your knees up, your feet flat on the floor. And come to rest, bend your elbows, rest the fingertips. Rest your fingertips on your rib cage. So yeah, your knees up. Your knees up. Sorry. Feet flat on the floor. And you're just connecting to the ground underneath you. So we've had these we've had these elements that preceded space and air, space. We've had the ground, the earth. So drop into the earth, connect with the earth underneath you. That plane of contact with the body and the floor. And then moving towards water. So each element, we're transforming each element into the next. And you can feel the flow within. As you feel into connecting to the breath. Great. Sinking into the ground. Sinking into the floor. And just watching the rise and fall of the belly. Moving with the breath. The flow of air coming in and out of the nostrils. You bring your awareness to the flow of air coming in and out of the nostrils. So kind of polishing the lens of your awareness. It's almost like this microscope or magnifying glass. And if you take your awareness to this flow of breath coming in and out of the nostrils, things just drop into the background. The movement of the mind, the thoughts coming and going. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Maybe so a few people just tiptoeing their way into the studio, just dropping in onto your mat, lying out onto your back, your knees up, your feet flat on the floor. And we're in the element of space today. And within the subtle body, in the yogic framework, the element of space resides in the subtle center of the throat. And the sense that is connected to space and the throat is your hearing. So as you take your hands behind the back of your head, interlock the fingers, rest the head in the hands, drop the elbows down to the ground, can you become aware of the sounds that you are experiencing? Not only my voice, but the subtle sounds around you that form and create this kind of sense of space. Just connect into the space around you as you feel grounded, as you feel the earth underneath. Then we're going to pick up the feet and we're going to move with the breath. So as you inhale, can you lift the heels up towards the ceiling? And then as you exhale, just drop the heels down to the bum. So inhaling the heels, the feet up. Exhale, the heels dropping down to the bum. Inhaling up and exhaling down. And maybe this movement will illustrate the depth and length of your breath to you. You inhale the heels up, exhale the heels down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And there's nothing to be done, just observe that movement, observe the breath guiding that movement. So we draw in this element of air, this prana, subtle energy of prana into the body. And then we drop those feet to the floor, the knees up. Can you notice then that flow of prana, that flow of air within you? And taking in all available space within. And we can encourage that to increase. We can encourage the prana to flow more freely. We can deepen the inhalation. So from the belly, as you take this deep inhalation, can you feel the breath coming up the front of the body, expanding up to the collarbones, to the throat, breathing all the way up, filling all the way up to the nostrils. Can you imagine the breath going to the forehead, to the crown of the head, and then as you exhale, lengthen that exhalation down, lengthen the exhalation out, dropping into the earth again. So we take these full deep breaths at the front of the body, from the belly, expanding that thoracic cage sideways, outwards, up to the collarbones, to the throat, the nostrils, the forehead, the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, can you almost imagine the breath going down the back of the neck, down the spine, out of the tailbone, out of the feet, into the ground. Right. Okay. So let's just roll over onto one side. In fact, roll over onto your left side. The knees are bent. That right elbow dropping down to the left. And then we're going to lift that right elbow up towards the ceiling. And just ever so slightly, take that right elbow behind the back. Just the beginnings of a stretch there. The beginnings of an opening in that right shoulder, the right shoulder blade engaged. Now take a full deep breath in. Take some full deep breaths in. Breathing fully, deeply. You'll feel this expansion then of the breath moving into the space of that right side of the lung, up to the armpit, up to the shoulder blade, filling that space full with prana, with air, that oxygenating the blood. Long exhalation down, down as you drop into the ground through the left side. Again, full deep inhalations into this right side, exploring that space with your breath, with the awareness of where that breath is traveling to. And you're exhaling, dropping down, down into the side, into the left side. Ground. Inhaling fully, deeply once more. And then as we exhale, let's roll out over onto the back, all the way over onto the right side. Drop into the ground through the right side. We lift that left elbow up towards the ceiling, taking that left elbow out over to the left a little. And we're opening up this left side now, breathing fully, deeply into it. So as you take this full deep breath, the prana will follow your awareness. Can you feel this expansiveness, this space opening up into the left side now, the armpit, the shoulder blade? As you exhale, long, long exhalation, extend that exhalation down, down into the ground, down into the earth. Inhaling, breathing up into this left side once more. And exhaling down into the ground. Last time, full deep breath into this left side. Exploring it with your awareness as that breath fills that left side, and we're going to exhale, rolling out over onto the back. Knees up, feet flat on the floor. Sink into the ground. Again, focusing on the breath coming in and out of the nostrils. It's a useful tool for anchoring our awareness as the waves of the mind flow through you. The thoughts coming and going. Sinking them into the ground. Aware of the sounds around you. And then we'll drop, keep the feet flat on the floor. We're kind of rolling onto the edge of the feet as we roll those knees, both knees down over to the left. Just drop the knees down over to the left. Breathe fully. Feel the stretch and opening in this right side. Breathing into that right side. Exhaling once again, letting yourself drop into the earth. Inhale, breathing into that stretch in that right side, into the opening. Exhaling down, down into the ground. So gradually, we're shifting our regular shallow breath into what we could call a yogic breath. These long exhalations, full, deep, exploring inhalations, exploring the space within. And then on the next inhalation, let's draw those knees up to center. Pause for a moment as you reach the top of that in-breath. And then exhaling the knees down over to the right. Feeling the stretch in this left side. Becoming an opening. Long exhalations down into the earth allows you to kind of release, to let go. Full deep inhalations, you're exploring the stretch, exploring the body, exploring the space within as this breath moves within you, expanding. So this upward moving force, this upward moving breath of prana, and this downward moving force, this exhalation, elimination is apana, down into the ground. And then we'll be guided once more with the breath, allowing that movement to come. So we inhale the knees up to center. Exhale the knees rolling down over to the left. Turn the head over towards the right elbow. The inhalation will draw those knees up to center again, pointing up towards the ceiling. To the top of the inhalation. And then the exhalation, rolling the knees down over to the right, turning over to the left elbow. So continue to allow your own breath to guide your movement, inhaling up and exhaling down in the opposite direction, turning the head in the opposite direction to the knees, inhaling up and exhaling down. So kind of the autopilot of the breath is guiding that movement, and we can get interested in our central axis, the back, the spine. The movement of the breath within. Again, and lifting the knees up to center. Inhaling the knees up to center. Just notice, just keep on bringing your awareness back to the changes within the subtle sensations of the body. And obviously there'll be the movement of the mind, the thoughts that are constantly coming and going. You're just trying not to hang on to any particular train of thought. Just let it come and go, like clouds in a blue sky. And sometimes that sky is just completely grey, and that's how it is. Just observe, just watch. But other times you might get a glimpse of the blueness beyond those clouds. And that's where our attention starts to get interested in that blue sky. So let's take the hands and support so we're supporting the neck as well as the head. So the fingers still interlocked behind the head. We're lifting the head and neck. The elbows pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to move into kind of some squats. So lift the feet up off the floor. The elbows are coming up towards the knees to the elbows, the tailbone lifts. Full deep inhalation. And then the exhalation will come and that will see you unraveling and rolling back down to the ground, back down to the earth, head, shoulders, elbows, the feet flat on the floor. The inhalation, when the inhalation comes again, drawing you up, curling you up. Elbows to the knees, knees to the elbows, and the exhalation unraveling down to the ground. Watch and wait till you reach the very end of the exhalation. There's a pause before the inhalation draws you back up again. So we're being very much informed. The movement's very much informed by the movement of the breath. And from there, we can get interested and we can take our awareness now into the body, into the space within. Can you feel particularly the navel area, the tummy button? It's Manipura chakra within the yogic framework. The subtle energy of fire residing there. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And then we'll inhale, coming up. This time as you exhale, step the feet up towards the ceiling, long legs, and exhaling those legs, keeping them straight, slowly down to the ground. And before they touch the ground, inhaling, bending the knees once again, elbows to the knees, knees to the elbows. So we're inhaling and exhaling, stretching the legs up towards the ceiling, slowly lowering them towards the ground. Just before they touch the ground, we're bending the knees, inhaling, coming back up again. Really feel the belly, the navel, inhaling, curling up, exhaling, rolling down. And maybe one last time, inhaling, curling up, feeling the belly, exhaling slowly, dropping those feet, those legs down to the ground. Now you can drop the heels on the floor. Part the heels mat width apart. Release the hands from behind the back of the head. Take the arms alongside the body, the palms up. Boom, Shavasana for the first time. Feel the space within. Can you feel almost the breath coming in, entering through the navel area, through the tummy button, as the belly expands on that in-breath, up towards the chest, the thoracic cage, the collarbones. Can you feel and breathe up to the throat? Nostrils, forehead, crown of the head. Exhale down the back of the body, down the neck, down the spine, out of the tailbone, or even out of the feet. Watch that kind of circular breath coming in. So we're inhaling up the front of the body from the belly, expanding. Chest, throat, nostrils, forehead, crown of the head, exhaling down the back of the neck, down the back into the ground. Really getting a full sense of the internal space within. As this prana, this breath moves through you. Inhaling up, this upward moving force of prana. Exhaling down, this downward moving force of apana into the earth. Okay, let's bring the heels together. Let's stretch the arms alongside the ears, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up and out. Stretch the toes and heels away, and then draw and hug both knees towards the chest. Gently rocking side to side, left and right. Allow that head to roll with that motion, massaging the lower back, the internal organs even. And then we come back to center. We'll release that right knee and drop that right foot to the floor. Hold on to this left knee. So we're beginning to balance out and feel into the left and right side. So gently move that knee left and right. We're feeling into the movement of that hip particularly. And can be very kind of gnarly and gritty in that left hip. Feel how the space is there. Feel your own range of movement. And don't try and push yourself beyond that range of movement. Just feel up to it. And then come back to center. We hug that knee and we engage the heel. We splay the toes. We deepen that connection in that left side, in that left joint of the hip, and feeling into how the knee is. Acknowledging how your knee is. And then we'll step that left foot up towards the ceiling and supporting behind the back of the leg. So interlock the fingers, take the hands behind the thighs or hold behind the calf, but avoid holding behind the knee as you begin to move once again with the breath. Inhaling the toes up towards the ceiling and exhaling the toes down towards the face to heel away. So inhaling up and exhaling down. Just feeling into the subtle stretch or not so subtle stretch in the hamstring, in the calf, the shin, the front of the foot, the sole of the foot, the arch of the foot. So there's this whole connection with that left foot and ankle. Exploring the fullness of your body, the space within it. Come back to center. We draw a circle with the foot rotating at the ankle, moving one way. Clicks and crunches maybe on the way, and then in the opposite direction. Come back to center. We'll lift the head and shoulders. We'll walk the hands further up that leg, stretch the heel away, just briefly feeling the stretch at that hamstring, and then release that tension. We bend that knee, drop the head back onto the ground, and we take the outside of that left foot onto the raised right thigh. The left hand on that left knee as you move that left knee forwards and backwards. You're feeling into, again, it's a different flexion in that left hip. So in a lot of these postures and yoga postures, we're kind of designed to enable a more comfortable seated posture. So then you can deepen your meditative practices. So just feeling into maybe a looseness there in that left side, an opening. We come back to center, we lift the head and shoulders. We take that left hand through the gap in the leg and we lift and hug this right thigh or right knee towards us. Engage the heels away, splay the toes and drop your awareness down into the ground, down into the earth, through the back. Now come back to this yogic breath again. Maybe you're holding the breath or the breath has become shallow. Can you fully, deeply breathe here, this abdominal breath? Expanding from the belly, breathing into the space of the pelvis, of the hips, of that left side hip, that left buttock maybe. So you're exploring again the space with the prana, with the breath, and it will follow your awareness. Exhaling down. Inhaling, no, we're still holding onto that posture, but we're breathing into the stretch. And as you exhale, you're feeling the ground underneath you. So just keep hold of that knee, just a few more breaths. Feeling into the resistance there to begin with, which then becomes an opening as you increasingly give yourself permission to soften, to relax. And then we can release, we can let go. We can take both feet to the floor, knees up, drop the head back down to the ground, and take the hands, both hands, to rest in the center of your chest, of your heart center. Just feeling into, getting interested in the left side of the body as the space there opens up, as the prana there flows, the air flows, as the water element, or this subtle energy of ojas, this water, again flows through the left side. Fire, earth. So increasingly we're building on all the elements that have previously gone before. Feeling into the space in the left side of the body. How does that feel? Okay. And then the right side. Let's hug that right knee towards the chest. Gently rocking it side to side, left and right. Again, you're just noticing and getting interested in the range of movement there in that right hip. You're feeling into how the joint of the knee. So we can take that awareness in and throughout our practice. We come back to center, we hug that knee, we engage the heel, we splay the toes, deepening that connection to the space of the hip, of the joints. And we're stepping that right foot up towards the ceiling, taking the hands behind the back of the leg, and begin to move with the breath, inhaling the toes up towards the ceiling, exhale the toes down towards the face, the heel away, inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. And the humor of the body that's connected to space is the marrow of the bones. You'd almost imagine what the marrow, the inside of the skeletal structure of that right leg, possibly the thigh, the calf, the knee, feeling into the stretch of the foot, front of the foot, the sole of the foot. So you're inhaling up, exhaling down. And coming back to center, we'll draw a circle with the foot rotating one way. And then in the opposite direction. Okay. Coming to center, we'll step up towards the ceiling, we'll walk the hands up that right leg, lift the head and shoulders, just briefly feeling into this hamstring as you stretch the heel away, and then release that tension. We bend that knee, we roll the head back onto the ground and take the outside of that right foot onto the raised left thigh, that right hand on that right knee, and then exploring how this side feels, how the flexion is in this right hip, how maybe the resistance is there in the knee. So often there's resistance in the knee that kind of guards the deeper resistance that resides in our hips. This kind of whole space within that hip, as we've grown from childhood, we often store, or so it said, we store all these different traumas or different emotions within the body, and particularly in those hips. So feeling into that range of movement there in the hips, just listening, not pushing yourself beyond your limit. We come back to center, we lift the head and shoulders. We take that right hand through the gap in the leg and lift and hug that left thigh, left knee, engage the heels, splay the toes, drop into the ground with your awareness through into that connection to the back on the floor. And maybe the breath has become shallow as you feeling a deeper kind of sensation in that right hip, this kind of grittiness, this kind of the tapas, the element of fire that's there. Breathe into that, this full deep inhalation, this abdominal breath. As you inhale, that breath moves down into that right side, into that right hip. As you exhale, you allow yourself to sink into the floor. We're still holding the posture, but allow yourself an awareness to sink into the ground. This apnea, this kind of release of carbon dioxide, this exhalation of all the tension that we don't really need. Breathing into that right side, exploring it with the awareness, the fire of your awareness. Exhaling, and we'll release. We'll take both feet to the floor, the knees up. Rest the hands over the center of the heart center of the chest. As you drift and explore the space in the right side of the body, how it unravels, how it begins to melt and release the tension of the previous kind of posture or asana, melting and folding, unraveling into the ground. Feel the heart center, feel the hands over the center of the heart. And then can you take your awareness from the heart center up to your throat? So as we balance the left and right side out, the subtle energy of prana can flow more freely through our central axis of our back, of our spine. And it's something that's happening already. It's just an invitation there for you to shine the light of your awareness on that part of the body, the center of your body. As we bring the soles of the feet together and drop the knees apart, down to the ground. And then maybe the weight of the knees opens up the hips a bit beyond their limit, so you can pick up the knees a fraction. Tilt the pelvis forwards and backwards. You're kind of pushing the lower lumbar to the ground and release, pushing the lower lumbar to the ground and release, and come back to a stillness. And then we'll lift the head and shoulders, kind of looking down towards the feet. We're going to take the hands down towards the feet, lift the feet up, still soles together. Hold the hands, hold the feet, and then push the heels back down ever so slightly. Push the heels back down to the ground. And you're feeling this stretch and balancing this tightness, stretch on the inside of the legs, the thighs. And from here, we're going to encourage the feet to travel up towards the face, up towards the head. You could take the hands through the gap in the leg to the outside edge of the feet. So those feet are traveling up to the head. And more than any other posture, I think, this illustrates how we're kind of all on the journey. Yoga is a journey as well as a science. But there's no need to reach the ultimate posture. We're just aware of our own body, our own physical restrictions, our own physical body and how it moves. You don't need to push it or force it into any particular shape. And then we can release. And both feet to the floor, the knees up, hands come and rest over the center of the chest, again, over the heart center. Watching the breath coming in and out of the nostrils. Again, anchoring the fire and light of your awareness to the breath. And slowly, bit by bit, as you move deeper into your practice, the body, the breath, the space that you're exploring within you becomes even more interesting, than the movement of the mind. It becomes more interesting than the thoughts, the holiday destinations, or the shopping list, or the to-do list. Just bring your awareness back to the breath, back to the body, and we can begin to explore the space within a bit more. Okay, let's draw and hug those knees towards the chest again, just gently rocking side to side. Allow that head to roll with that motion. And then we're going to come to center. So we're going to move into a shoulder stand. And now the contraindications of this really is if you do have high blood pressure, possibly you kind of forget all about it. In fact, don't forget all about it. Just if you don't feel like you're coming into this shoulder stand or inverted posture, just visualize yourself in the posture. That'll be enough. But if you're with me with this, just check you've got enough space behind you. So we'll kind of dropping into that kind of cloud, but we're going to take the hands behind the knees, lift the head and shoulders. We're going to rock forwards and backwards with the breath, inhaling forwards and exhaling back. Inhaling forwards and exhaling back. Just rocking forwards and backwards. And then we're exhaling back, ending upon the shoulders. Take the hands, bend the knees, take the hands to support the back. And now drop the knees to the forehead. Bend the knees, drop the knees to the forehead. And can you walk the hands further down the back towards the shoulder blades, just encouraging the chest to get closer towards the chin. And then we're going to just drop the feet down towards the floor. Keep the knees bent to begin with. Inhale, exhale. So we're very much stimulating the thyroid gland here. And within that yoga framework, the subtle energy of space or ether. Now, with that, can we inhale that right leg, step that right foot up towards the ceiling? Step up towards the ceiling with that right foot, and then take a few breaths there. Feel very much supported with the hands on the back, the weight increasingly coming over onto the upper arms and elbows, supporting you. And then on your next exhalation, can you bring that right foot back down to the ground, keeping it straight for as long as possible? Then become a time maybe when the stretching that hamstring becomes too much, even before the feet, the toes reach the ground. So bend the knees if you need to. And we'll inhale and step that left foot up towards the ceiling. Can you step that left foot up towards the ceiling? Take a few breaths there. Inhale, exhale. And then exhale that left leg down to the ground. Again, keeping it straight for as long as possible. Bend the knee whenever you need to, whenever the stretch in the hamstring becomes too much. And then we'll inhale both feet up towards the ceiling. Stepping the heels up. And be brave here. See if you can bring the heels more over, or see if you can align yourself like a candle, so that increasingly the weight becomes over the elbows, the upper arms, the hands very much supported on the back. Breathe. Inhale, exhale. You can bring your awareness to the breath again. You can bring your awareness to the sounds around you, your hearing. Feeling into that space. Then exhaling both feet down to the ground, just with control, keeping the legs length long, dropping behind the back of the head. And maybe they touch the ground, maybe they don't. We haven't yet warmed up quite a lot of the hamstrings yet, so we'll take and then bend the knees to the ears. Not overstretching, not overdoing it. That first posture. Take the hands
On the ground behind you, lengthen the arms behind you, hands flat on the floor. So we're going to use the hands as brakes as we unravel, rolling back down to the ground with control. Feet drop onto the floor, the knees up. Boom. Can you turn and roll the palms up towards the ceiling? Close the eyes, relax the jaw. And explore that opening, expanding space within you. How does that feel? So a lot of the work that we do within the yoga or asana practice comes in those moments, in these moments of relaxation, in between the postures, where we can get interested in and feel into how the body unravels, how the body softens and melts, releases the tension that we previously put it under. Feel the element of earth underneath you supporting. The flow of water, ojas within. The fire of your awareness. The movement of air and prana as you take these full deep breaths. Long, long exhalations. Full deep inhalations, encouraging the breath to travel up to the collarbones, to the throat, the nostrils, the forehead, the crown head, and exhaling down once again into the ground, down the back, into the earth. So working with all the past elements as we feel into the space within us. Okay. Can you bring your heels closer to the bum? Can you, in fact, reach down and hold on to the ankles? Maybe that's too much, but you could release then the ankles. We're going to, you could put the palms flat on the floor. We're going to push into the feet, lift the pelvis, lift the hips, thighs engaged. You're pushing with the thighs, you're pushing yourself up onto the shoulders, taking a full deep breath here. In fact, a few breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale fully, deeply. And as we exhale, we're going to unravel, rolling one vertebra, then another down to the ground. Sinking down into the floor. A couple of breaths here. Then let's move a little with the breath. So inhale, push into the feet, lift the pelvis, lift the hips again, pushing up onto the shoulders. Full deep inhalation, yogic breath, and then exhale, long, long exhalation as you unravel, rolling down, down, down into the ground. Can you feel almost the space of the pelvis, the hips, continuing to drop almost past the level of, deeper into the level of the ground, into the mat, dropping into that. Okay. We're going to come up once again, inhaling, breathing up, lifting up, pelvis, hips, up onto the shoulders. This time we're going to take the hands underneath us, the palms flat on the floor, the fingers pointing in between the heels. And we're going to exhale this time, sitting down onto the backs of the hands. Now stretch your legs out away from you. Shake those legs out. We're approaching the Matsyasana, the fish posture. So lift yourself up onto your elbows, lift your head up, look up down towards the toes, come up onto the elbows. We're going to push into the elbows and lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Now the head's now going to drop back. We're going to relax the neck. And it's almost like pivoting back on the elbows as the crown of the head searches for the ground. Come back to this breath. Just take some full, wherever you are, take some full deep breaths. Really fill the body with this long, long exhalation. We're going to remove some of the stale air that's at the bottom of the lungs, which we yet haven't reached. Full deep inhalations here. Long, long exhalations. Inhale fully, deeply. Exhale. Inhale, look up towards, lift the head, look up towards the toes. And then as you exhale, rolling back out onto the ground, unravel, release the hands, the arms from underneath you, part the arms, palms up, part the heels, mat width apart, boom, Shavasana again. Close the eyes, relax the jaw. How does that space feel now within you? Can you feel the elements and the dance of the elements within you? Within that space. The breath, the prana moving. With every inhalation, every exhalation. Okay, we'll come back to this posture. It's an interesting one to explore, but we'll bring the heels together and we'll stretch the arms alongside the ears, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up and out, stretch the toes and heels away. Stretch the toes and heels away, and we'll draw and hug those knees towards the chest once again. Gently rocking side to side, left and right. Allow that head to roll with that motion. Massaging the back. And we'll roll over onto one side and come up just a cross-legged posture. Bring the feet, the soles of the feet together. And we're bouncing those knees up and down. Flying like butterflies. And then just come to a still place. We're going to take the feet just another foot in front, just the distance of your feet in front. And we're going to hold on to the feet. And we're going to just roll the head forward, just allowing a natural curve of the back and the spine. As you exhale, drop the head forward, relax the neck. Feel the shoulders relax. Sink into the earth through the seat bones, through the tailbone. Watch and observe the breath again. Inhale. Exhale. Right, and then coming back up. Let's stretch those legs out. Shake those legs out. And we come into a forward bend. So the heels of the hands in line with the bum. We push into the heels of the hands, splay the fingers, ground the arms, roll the shoulders back. Feel this lift of the crown of the head up. So you're dropping into the ground, into the earth through the seat bone, and you're feeling this lift of the crown of the head, these two polarities that are happening. And we're encouraging this subtle flow of prana, of the subtle element of water, ojas, through the kind of the spinal column, through the cerebral spinal fluid, through the parasympathetic nervous system, all the way from the tailbone up to the hypothalamus. So we bring the hands into prayer position, the forearms parallel to the ground. We're still feeling that lift. And it's not so much as trying to fold and reach the legs. Again, it's the journey, but we're folding at the waist, keeping a straight back. Come to the edge of your resistance. We can't go any further. There's a whole tension there that we're putting our body into. We release the hands, hold on to the ankles, the shins, maybe the toes. But wherever you are, try not to fold, try not to collapse. We're again encouraging the crown of the head away from the tailbone. So we're looking at the whole stretch up the back of the body, the whole flow up the back of the body. And often when we reach these kind of attention within a posture, see what happens to your breath. Does it become more shallow? Do you in fact even hold the breath? Sometimes when you're concentrating on something particular, we can often find that we actually hold our breath. This is natural kumbhaka. But bring it back to this yogic breath, this long exhalation. As you drop apana, drop into the ground, this full deep inhalation, increasing the flow of prana, exhaling down, inhaling up. And then drop your awareness onto wherever it is in the body, in this posture, that's particularly challenging for you. Where is the tightness? Is it in the back of the legs? Is it in the lower back? So again, you don't need to be reaching your feet. You could be just holding onto your ankles or shins, but feel like you're encouraging this straight, long back. So you're breathing up to your edge. You're taking yourself up to your own edge. If we overstretch here, if we create too much tension, it will just agitate the mind. We'd have nothing to be gained by it. The mind comes in, the thoughts come in and try and distract us away from being so silly as to put so much pressure on our body. So just breathe into your own edge. You take these full deep inhalations, exploring that resistance. And when you exhale, you give yourself permission to soften a little here, to relax, maybe the shoulders, the elbows. Feel into what we could call the tapas, or the fire of the posture, the stretch, this alchemical process, unraveling, unfolding. Then we'll inhale, stretching forwards and up, stretching up and release. Great. Okay, let's bend the feet. Bend the knees, bring the feet close to you, take the hands behind you, either the fingers away or towards you, whichever's more comfortable. We push into the feet, push into the hands, lift the pelvis, lift the hips, come up into a tabletop, drop the head back, relax the neck, take some full deep breaths here, feeling breathing all the way up to the chest, to the throat, to the nostrils, the forehead, long exhalations. Full deep inhalations, again expanding the awareness of the space within us. Inhale, exhale, and then sitting back down to the ground. We're going to roll out over and sit onto the heels. Just check in with how your knees are feeling here. Maybe the knees aren't up to it. Maybe you might need to sit over to one side. So whatever you need to do to be comfortable, but you could just drop and sit on the heels, rest the hands on the thighs, roll the shoulders back. So let's bring the hands over onto the shoulders. Yeah, we're going to inhale those elbows forwards, up, exhaling round, back and down. Inhaling forwards through and up, exhale round, back and down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And back in the opposite direction. So inhaling back, up, exhaling forwards, round and down. Inhaling back, up, exhaling forwards, round and down. And release. Shrug the shoulders to the ears and release. And again, shrug the shoulders to the ears and release. Once more, last time. And release. Great. Just rest the hands on the thighs. Close the eyes. Checking with how you're feeling. Just observe this space within. If you need to, you could anchor your awareness down with the with the breath, the flow of breath coming in and out of the nostrils. Let's see how it is for you, how the mind is at the moment. And then we can part the feet, or just, this might be enough of a posture, sitting on the heels or sitting onto the side. But if you feel to, just see how you go on. You could always use a cushion, but if you part your feet, you could sit onto a cushion in between. So the tailbone's dropping down towards the ground in Vidrasana posture, in this lightning bolt posture. Inhale, exhale. And we will stay at this point of the journey with this posture. But what we could do actually is come up, and we'll come up onto the knees, maybe stretch the legs out. And the hands come up onto the knees. We come into a camel posture. So the knees parted, hip width apart, the feet behind you. Take the hands down to the back, so the fingers are kind of resting and supporting the tailbone. We're tilting the pelvis forwards, tailbone down, thighs engaged. And then here we're lifting the chin, we're lifting the chest, rolling the shoulders back, dropping the head back, relaxing the neck, taking some full deep breaths here. Again, breathing up to the collarbones, up to the throat, up to the nostrils. Expanding and filling this space with prana. Exhale. Now this might be enough of a posture for you, but if you feel to, you could add to it. You could take that right hand back to that right heel. You could take that left hand back to that left heel. Thighs engaged again. You're pushing the hips, pelvis forwards. Again, dropping the head back. It's very much supported. Thighs going away, but come out of it if you need to. Come back to the beginnings of this posture. Again, just journeying along in your own time, your own pace. Full deep inhalation, and let's all come back up. Hands onto the ground in front, onto all fours, and we'll just sink into a child. Tailbone sinking down towards the heels, the chest down towards the thighs. Allow the forehead to connect with the earth. The arms alongside the body, the palms up, dropping the shoulders open. Now here, we can breathe through the nose, full deep inhalation, but exhale out of an open mouth. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of an open mouth. And giving a moment for and permission for that emotional body to release a little, to soften a little. Can you feel your shoulders unraveling? And even if your shoulders aren't unraveling, you can feel the knots, possibly the tension that we often hold there. And these shoulders are just helping us, they kind of support us, help us get through our day-to-day lives, particularly in lockdown, where maybe your increased time on your screens or on your computer, or whatever you might be doing with your days, just allowing the shoulders, the space within the shoulders to open up, to soften, and just to be how they are. Just feel them. Exhale. Great. And we can do a bit more work with this as we stretch the arms out, stretch the hands out. We're going to come over onto our bellies. We're going to stretch the legs behind and come to rest the chin in the hands. Now find a comfortable place for the elbows to be. Not too far away that it impacts on your neck, and not too close that it impacts on the lower back, somewhere in between, and just gently rock side to side, left and right. And just loosen up, sink into the floor, maybe close the eyes even. Allow the weight of the head to drop down into the ground through the elbows. Now, see if you can give the body permission to relax. The toes, the feet, the ankles, the calves, the backs of the knees, the thighs, the hips, the buttocks. Moving into the realm of the back. Can you explore the sensations of the back, the lower back, the middle back, with the movement of the breath, with the movement of the belly against the ground? Again, what's happened to the breath? Can you encourage the lengthening of the exhalation into the ground? Can you expand the inhalation up to the collarbones, to the throat, to the nostrils, the forehead? Exhaling down into the ground, inhaling up to the shoulders. Right. And then we're going to shift the hands. We're going to release the hands flat on the floor. We're going to shift the elbows underneath the shoulders. Splay the fingers, ground the palms, and we're kind of moving into the Sphinx posture. But before we do, just drop the weight of the head forwards, relax the neck. Again, kind of shining the light of your awareness on your shoulders, on the tension that's possibly we hold in our neck, the upper back. And then with just slowly moving with the breath, we're going to inhale the chin up, lifting forwards, just looking forwards, lifting the head up, looking forwards. Push into the elbows, roll the shoulders back. Can you lift the crown of the head up even further? And maybe we've reached the edge of our posture there, the limit. And then we can encourage, once again, the body to relax here. As we relax the toes, the feet, the ankles, the calves, the knees, the backs of the knees, easy enough. The thighs, relaxed. Then moving up towards the back, muscles in the bum. How does the lower back feel? Can we explore those sensations, the space of the back, with the movement of the breath? Can we encourage this long exhalation? A fuller, deeper inhalation. How does that feel with the belly? Can you feel the breath now moving into the lower back? Exhaling down into the ground through the belly, the hips. Inhale, full deep inhalation. Can you draw that breath up now to the middle of the back? Exhaling down once again into the ground. Inhaling, breathing into the middle of the back. Exhaling down into the earth. Full deep inhalation. Can you encourage the breath now, travel up the whole of the back, up towards the shoulders, the shoulder blades, up to the collarbones at the front of the body. Long exhalation down. Full deep inhalation, breathing into the space in the upper torso. Long exhalation down. Once again, breathing up to the upper torso, up to the shoulders. This time, as you exhale, can you slowly turn the head over the left shoulder? Highlighting the left side. Breathe into the space in the left side now. Full deep inhalation, left shoulder blade. The left side of the neck, how does that feel? Long exhalation. It gives you an opportunity to soften there, to let go. Full deep inhalation, breathing into the space, into this left side. Exploring it with your awareness. How does the left side of the neck feel? How does the shoulder blade feel? Just observing.
Long exhalation as you bring that head back to center. And in fact, all the way over to the right side, the right shoulder. Looking out over the right shoulder, full deep inhalation, exploring the space in this right side. Can you breathe up to the shoulder blade, the shoulder, the right side of the neck. Again, exploring how it feels. Long exhalation, giving yourself permission to soften, to release a little, to let go. Inhale, breathing up that right side, the right shoulder, the right collarbone, side of the neck. Again, long exhalation, softening. So there's nothing to be done apart from explore and understand, be aware of the sensations of the body in that right side. And then we exhale, next exhalation back to center, looking forward. Inhale, full deep breath. Let's push into the elbows, roll the shoulders back, feel the lift of the crown of the head, maybe tense the buttocks, tense the thighs. Full deep inhalation, toes pointing away from you. And then as you exhale, this time we're going to make a pillow with the hands, turn the head one way, sink down into the ground, unravel, unfold, melt and dissolve into the ground. Close the eyes. A few breaths here. Again, this place of relaxation. We're kind of becoming integral to our practice. Deepening the awareness of how the body unravels. Observing how the body softens, melts. Kind of peeling away the layers of the onion. Or opening the layers of the Russian doll. And almost an infinitesimal amount of cells within. So let's bring the forehead to the ground. Let's take the hands underneath the shoulders. Bring the elbows, tuck the elbows into the body. Can you bring the big toes touching, if they're not already, and roll the ankles and heels towards one another? And as you do, can you push and tense the thighs, push the pubic bone into the ground, tense the buttocks? Great. We're inhaling that right leg, right foot up off the ground, pointing that right toe away, and exhaling that right leg down. Inhaling the left leg up, left toes away, and exhaling that left leg down. Inhale both feet, both legs up, pointing the toes away, thighs engaged, bum tense, feel the belly. Breathe, inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale those legs back down. Keep the tension in the thighs, in the bum, in the legs as you lift the chin, lift the head, looking forwards. Can you lift the hands up off the ground? Then plant the hands back down on the ground, elbows to the body. Drop the shoulders, push into the hands. Just a small cobra. Take some full deep breaths. Again, this is probably where you begin to feel that you're holding the breath. Can you encourage the lengthening of the exhalation? Exploring. Full deep inhalation, breathing fully deeply. So again, we're exploring the space within. Inhale, exhale. Firm hands on the ground. Inhale fully deeply. And exhale, release. Make a pillow with the hands. Turn the head the opposite way. Sink into the ground. Let go. Allow your awareness to drift through the sensations of the body. Allow your awareness to move through the space within you. And see where your interest alights. See where you are drawn to exploring. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, let's take the hands
the forehead to the ground, the hands underneath the shoulders. Let's push ourselves back up into a child. In fact, can you adopt more dynamic child? Can you part the knees, bring the toes together, sink the tailbone back towards the heels? You can drop the elbows to the ground. Now the forehead again is journeying down towards this connection with the earth. You could do that with one potato, two potato, rest the forehead on the fists. And again, just take this gently, this easy transition down to the floor. See where you end up on that journey. We come back to this kind of a release of the emotional body as we inhale through the nose. Exhale out of an open mouth. It's all okay. Inhale through the nose, full deep inhalation. And exhale any tension down into the earth. Okay. Let's lift the head. Let's stretch the hands out in front. Come back, come up onto all fours. Just bring the knees underneath the hips, the hands underneath the shoulders. And let's draw a circle with the hips moving one way. And then in the opposite direction. Coming back to center. And just exploring this different relationship with the weight of the body and gravity. Take the hands, take the weight a bit more over onto the hand. And then back towards the knees. Back onto the hands. Back towards the knees. And then find somewhere in between. So you're dropping equally down through the knees, down through the hands. Feel the earth underneath you. Bring your awareness again back to your hearing. Back to the space. Exploring the space in which you are inhabiting right now. As it is. We tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling. We kind of drop and accentuate the curve of the lower back, drop the belly to the ground. Moving towards a cat stretch, but ever so slowly, just even if you've done it 1,000 times, just follow me to begin with. We lift the chin, we lift the head, we lift the gaze of the eyes. So this a natural bandha, a natural lock, as you lift the gaze of the eyes up towards the forehead. And we take these full deep breaths here at the front of the body, full deep inhalation. Long, long exhalations. Just holding this posture here. Full deep inhalation. Long, long exhalation. So we're stimulating the pineal gland, the third eye, the seat of our awareness, really. Inhaling up there, long exhalation. Inhale. And then on the next exhalation, we're going to roll the head forwards, push into the hands, tilt the pelvis forwards, tailbone down, arch the back, relax the neck, drop the head. Now the tummy gets drawn in here. There's a natural Uddiyana bandha, another lock, stimulating the central hara, the Manipura chakra. Just feeling into that belly. The breathing here, but it's a bit more restricted. There's the diaphragm's not working as well. But you're feeling into the tummy, the belly area. Inhale, exhale. And then on the next inhalation, we're going to roll forwards and through, drop the belly, tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling. You need to lift the chin, lift the head, lift the gaze of the eyes up towards the forehead, full deep inhalation. And then the exhalation, next exhalation comes, we're rolling forwards and down. So we're moving and being guided by your own long yogic breath. And see if you can connect the movement of the body to the length of that inhalation, exhalation. So inhaling forwards and through and up, lifting the gaze of the eyes up towards the ceiling. Exhaling forwards and down, dropping the forehead to the ground. So again, this autopilot of the breath is informing, is guiding that movement, which enables us to get interested in the movement of the back, the undulations of the spine, of these waves that are happening there. The kind of vibrations of the back. Just breathing, moving with the breath, freeing up the space in between the vertebrae. Allowing this whole fluid movement of prana within. And come back to center. Great. We're going to curl the toes under. And we're going to, in fact, let's give the toes away. Let's give the wrists kind of a relax the wrists. Let's bring the elbows down to the ground. Can you measure the distance of your elbows underneath your shoulders by wrapping the fingers around the elbows? And then we're going to take the hands out in front, interlock the fingers, and drop the hands to the ground, the forearms to the ground. Right. So we're kind of coming up into what's called the dolphin, if you're familiar with it. We're going to, it's like the downward dog, but on the elbows. So we're going to curl the toes under, and we're going to lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Feeling the tailbone lifted. Just keep the knees soft to begin with. There's no need to overstretch the backs of the legs. But then we're going to move with the breath. We'll inhale, take the head over the hands. And as you exhale, push into the forearms, into the elbows, pushing back, dropping the head back. The heels journeying their way to the ground. Inhaling forwards over the hands. Exhaling, pushing into the arms, into the hands, into the elbows, head back. Just a couple more breaths. I'm not going to over exert ourselves. Inhaling over, exhaling back. In fact, let's drop the knees to the ground, toes away, and just sink briefly into an easy child. Tailbone towards the heels, forehead to the ground, arms alongside the body, the palms up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And coming up to sit on the heels, just slowly. Sitting over to one side, stretching the legs out in front of us, shaking those legs out. Heels of the hands in line with the bum. We're pushing the hands, spraying the fingers, grounding, rolling the shoulders back, the crown, the head lifts. Hands into prayer position. Just folding up the waist. Come to the edge of your resistance. You can't get any further. Release. Hold on to the ankles, the shins. It doesn't matter how far down we get. The crown of the head lifts away from the tailbone. Feeling and breathing into a new kind of edge there, a new stretch for you in the backs of the legs. In the back of the body. Inhale, exhale. And then inhale, stretching forwards and up. And release. Kind of coming to an inclined plane. Now you could do it in two ways. You could, like before, bend the knees and bring the heels together. So come up into a kind of a tabletop. Or if you feel to, we could stretch the hands behind you, the heels, legs away. We're coming up with a straight leg, so the heels come up onto the ground. We're pushing up, pelvis up towards the ceiling again, seeing where you're on the journey. The soles of the feet searching for the ground as you lift up, drop the head back, take some full deep breaths here. Breathing up the front of the body to the throat, to the nostrils, the forehead, long exhalation down. So maybe you're feeling clearing some of that stale air out of the lungs again. Full deep inhalation, long exhalations. Inhale fully deeply. And exhale, dropping down to the ground. Rolling out onto the back. Parting the arms, palms up. Parting the heels mat width apart. Sink into the ground. Shavasana. Now if you feel that the lower back needs some support there, you could always bend the knees, feet flat on the floor. Always just slowly stretching those heels away. Mat width apart. Arms alongside the body, the palms up. Close the eyes. Relax the jaw. Anchor your awareness once again to the breath coming in and out of the nostrils. Keep on bringing your awareness back to the breath. The rise and fall of the belly. And then we've kind of sufficiently polished the lens of our awareness. We can begin to explore the body and the space within the body. Allowing the body to open, to soften, to relax and let go. Feeling into the toes and the feet, the ankles and heels, heavy on the ground. Exploring the space that the calves inhabit, the shins, the knees, the backs of the knees. Scanning the physical body, the thighs, and becoming increasingly aware of the subtle body within, the hips, the rise and fall of the belly. Feel the fingers and the hands, the palms of the hands, the space within the hands. Feel the wrists, the forearms, the elbows. And feel the upper arms and shoulders. Almost mapping out with your awareness this new space within you. New awareness of this changing, ever-changing physical body, this ever-changing subtle body. Feeling the shoulders, the shoulder blades, upper back, the middle of the back, possibly the curve of the lower back. Can you feel the space in the curve of the lower back? Relax the neck. And can you come to rest your awareness on the throat center? Where within the subtle body of this yogic framework, ether, space resides. Feel into the throat. The space. This continually expanding space within you.
Rest your awareness on your throat. As you sink into the ground, the weight of the head on the floor. The muscles in the face begin to relax. The movement in the backs of the eyes slowing down. Just slowing down the movements in the backs of the eyes. As you sink into the ground, sink into the floor. Allow the earth to come up and hold you. Just drop into the earth's embrace. Let go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And bringing then your awareness back to your bodies, to your fingers, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, drawing yourself back from this expansive space within. Bring yourself back into your physical bodies. Your heels come together, stretching your arms up above your ears, interlocking the fingers, turning the palms out, having one last stretch. And then in your own time, rolling over to one side and coming up to a comfortable seated posture. Right. Maybe sitting with this mudra, if you just to begin with, just put your right hand in your left hand, bring the thumbs touching, and then bring the forefingers again touching, the fingers pointing, forefingers down, the thumbs pointing up towards the heart center. Just rest the hands in that mudra in your lap. Close the eyes, relax the body. Just bring your awareness again to the breath coming in and out of the nostrils. And checking in with how you're feeling. Checking in with the space within you. Inhale, exhale. And then just inviting you to drop into what was called a bandha, or a lock, a jalabandha lock. So we're just simply just dropping, keeping, feel the crown, the head lift. Can you shoulders, you expand take the shoulders back, feel this stretching across the front of the chest, the shoulder blades engaged. So the crown, the head lifts, the neck lifts. And then from there, we're just dropping the chin forwards. Feeling into the throat. Natural bandha, a lock there in the throat. Just again, stimulating the subtle energy center there, the thyroid gland. And within this yogic framework, the seat of space, of ether, connected to your hearing. And then slowly just lift that chin back up. You take the hands into that classic chin mudra, resting on the knees, somewhere on the knees, closing the eyes. And rounding off our practice with these 3 Oms, 3 Shantis. And again, just being aware of how the sound moves within that space within you. The resonance, the vibration, the waves of sound as we bring this on to our exhalation. Take this full deep inhalation together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. And before you open your eyes, you bring both hands to rest on your chest and the heart center. And we can repeat to ourselves, kind of giving over any merit to our practice today. Just repeating to yourself 3 times. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Just feeling a smile come to the corner of your lips. The hands then coming together. Bring the palms of the hands together. Rub the hands quite vigorously. Feel the heat in the palms of the hands, and cup the eyes with the palms of the hands. Open the eyes and breathe in that warmth. Close the eyes and repeat again a couple more times. And release. Namaste, everyone. Lovely to practice with you. Thank you for coming along to the practice or viewing the practice on the YouTube channel. Great. Enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the exploration of the space and ether. Some more interesting movement practices in the days to come at 10 o'clock. We've got Andy Gill, we've got Advayamati, and we have Norman Blair as well joining us in the next few days. So do come along to those. Thank you very much.